Park Row Books and Harper Audio present Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica, performed by Brittany Presley and Gary Tiedemann. For Rachel.
Prologue. I gasp and stagger backward. My hand goes to my mouth, bearing down. My brain screams at me to run. Run! I can't at first. Shock and fear hold me captive. They keep me from moving, like a ship that's dropped anchor. I'm moored to this spot, my eyes gaping in disbelief. My breath quickens, and I feel the flailing of my heartbeat in my neck, my throat, and in my ears. Run! My brain screams at me. Go! Fucking run! There is movement on the ground before me. The sound that comes with it is something heathen and raging, and some part of me knows that if I don't go now, I may never leave this place alive. I turn away. It's instantaneous. 1 minute I'm unmoving, and the next I'm moving so fast that the world comes at me in vague shapes and colors, streaks of brown and blue and green. I barely feel the movement of my legs and my feet as I run. I don't feel the impact of my shoes colliding with the earth, moving quickly across it. I don't look back, though I want more than anything to steal a look, to know that I'm alone, that I'm not being followed. But I don't look. It's too risky. Looking back would cost precious seconds that I don't know that I have. If I do, those seconds could be my last. Sounds come, but I'm so disoriented that I don't know where they come from. Is it only my pulse, the rush of blood in my ears? Or is someone there? I feel something tangible against my hair, and then my spine. My back arches. I jerk away, pitching forward, landing hard on my hands and knees. The world stops moving. I have only two thoughts in that moment. Staying alive, and that this isn't the way it was supposed to happen. Christian. Lily is sitting on the leather chair in the family room when I come in. Her back is to me. I see her from behind, just her long brown hair spilling down the back of the chair. She stares toward the TV on the opposite wall, but the TV is off. It's just a black box, and in it, I see a murky reflection of Lily on the screen, though I can't tell if her eyes are open or shut. "Hey," I say, coming in through the garage door, closing it quietly, and stepping out of my shoes. I set my phone and keys on the counter, and then ask, "How was your day?" It's getting dark in the house. Out the window, the sun is about to set. Lily hasn't bothered with the lights, and so the inside of the house is colorless and gray. We face east. Any pretty sunset is the other way. You can't see it from here, if there even is one to see. Lily says nothing back. She must have fallen asleep, sitting upright in the chair. It wouldn't be the first time. She's been extremely tired lately. The pregnancy is getting the best of her, not to mention that she's on her feet teaching all day. These two things in combination exhaust her. It used to be that Lily would be in the kitchen, cooking dinner when I got home. But these last few weeks, she comes home from work, ready to drop. I don't mind that she's not cooking. I've never been the kind of person to need a home-cooked meal after work, but that's the way Lily was raised. Her mother did it for her father, and so she thinks she should do it for me. She's been apologetic that she hasn't had it in her to cook dinner. But she's been queasy, too, and the last thing she needs to be doing is cooking for me. I called from the car and ordered takeout already. It will be here any minute. I step quietly into the family room. I come around to the other side of Lily to face her. Lily isn't asleep like I thought. Her eyes are open, but her expression is blank. Her skin looks gray, washed out, like the room, and I blame the poor lighting. Lily's head turns. She looks up at me as if in slow motion. "Hey," I say again, gently, smiling. "You okay? Did I wake you?" I flip on a side table light, and she winces from the brightness of it, her eyes taking time to adjust. I apologize for it, realizing that her pale face had nothing to do with the lack of light. In the warmth of the lamp's glow, I see that Lily's hair is wet. She wears maroon-colored joggers and a sweatshirt. She's showered and changed since coming home, which is more than she usually does. Usually she falls flat on the couch and doesn't leave until it's time to go to bed. I drop to my knees in front of her. I reach forward and run a hand the length of her hair. "You look exhausted, babe. Do you want to just go to bed? I can help you up. Takeout should be here soon. I'll bring it up to the room for you when it gets here." Lily blinks 3 times, as if to clear the fog. She finds her voice. It's husky at first, dry, like after a day of shouting at a football game, which is not that different than a day of teaching rowdy high school kids math. "No," she says, shaking her head. "I'm fine. Just tired. It was a long day." "You sure? I wouldn't mind dinner in bed myself." I had a long day too, but it doesn't seem right to compare them when only one of us has another human growing inside of them. "That sounds messy," she says. "I promise, I'll be neat." Lily smiles, and my heart melts. I love it when she smiles at me. "When are you ever neat?" "Never," I say, feeling better if she can still poke fun at me. I've done my research on pregnancy and childbirth. I've read that the fatigue women feel during the first trimester is maybe the most tired they'll feel in their whole lives. Growing a human is exhausting. Caring for one is too, but we're not there yet. "You need anything?" I ask, and she shakes her head. Takeout comes. I convince Lily to come sit on the couch with me, where we both fit. We watch TV, and as we do, I ask her about her day, and she asks me about mine. She's quieter than usual tonight. I do most of the talking. I'm a market research analyst, while Lily teaches high school algebra. We met in college over our shared love of math. When we tell people that, it makes them laugh. We're math nerds. When it's time for bed, Lily goes up to the room before me. From downstairs, I hear the sink run as she washes up. I clean up from dinner. I throw the takeout containers in the trash. There is a package waiting on the front porch. I step outside to get it, where the night is dark, though the sky is clear. It must be a new moon. Lily is standing at the top of the stairs when I come back in. She's there in the upstairs hall, standing in the dark, backlit by the bedroom light. Gone are the maroon sweats she wore earlier. She has on my flannel shirt now. Her legs are bare, one foot balanced on the other. Her hair is pulled back, her face still wet from washing it. "Don't forget to lock the door," she says down over the railing, patting her face dry with a towel. I wouldn't have forgotten to lock the door. I never do. It's not like Lily to remind me. I turn away from her, making sure the storm door is shut and locked, and then I push the front door closed and lock the deadbolt too. Our house sits on a large lot. It's old on the outside, but has a completely revamped, modern interior. It boasts things like a wraparound porch, beamed ceilings, a brick fireplace, which Lily fell in love with the first time she laid eyes on the house, and so I knew I couldn't say no despite the price, as well as the more modern amenities of a sub-zero fridge, stainless steel appliances, heated floors, and a large soaker tub that I was more enthusiastic about. The house is aesthetically pleasing, to say the least, with an enormous amount of curb appeal. It practically broke the bank to buy, but felt worth it at the time, even if it meant being poor for a while. In the backyard, the river runs along the far edge of the property, bound by a public hiking and biking trail. We were worried about a lack of privacy when we first moved in, because of the trail. The trail brought pedestrians to us, strangers, people just passing by. For most of the year, it's not a problem. The leaves on the trees provide plenty of privacy. It's only when they fall that we're more exposed. But the views of the river are worth it for that small sacrifice. Done, I tell her about the locks, and she asks then if I set the alarm. We've lived here years and hardly ever set the alarm. I'm taken aback that she would ask. Is everything okay? I ask. Lily says, yes, fine. She says that we have an alarm. We pay for it. We might as well use it. She isn't wrong. It's just that she's never wanted to before. I set the alarm. I make my way around the first floor, turning off lights. It takes a minute. When I'm done, I climb the stairs for the bedroom. Lily has the lights off in the room now. She stands at the window in the dark, with her back to the door. She's splitting the blinds apart with her fingers and is looking out into the dark night. I come quietly into the room. I sidle up behind Lily, setting my hand on the small of her back and asking, "What are you looking at?" as I lean forward to set my chin on her shoulder to see what she sees. Suddenly, Lily reels back, away from the window. She drops the blinds. They clamor shut. I've scared her. Instinctively, her hands rise up in self-defense, as if to strike me. I pull back, ducking before I get hit. "Whoa there, Rocky," I say, reaching for her arms. Lily's hands and arms remain motionless, suspended in air. "Shit. Sorry," she says, knowing how close she came to impact. The realization startles us both. "What was that?" I ask, as I gently lower Lily's arms. Lily isn't usually so jumpy. I've never seen that kind of reaction from her. She says, "I didn't know it was you." "Who did you think it was?" I ask, as a joke. She and I are the only ones here. Lily doesn't answer directly. Instead, she says, "I didn't hear you come up the stairs. I thought you were still downstairs." That doesn't explain it. "What are you looking at?" I ask again, gazing past her for the window. "I thought I heard something outside," she says. "Like what?" She says that she doesn't know. Just something. We stand, quiet, listening. It's silent at first, but then I hear the voices of kids rising up from somewhere outside. They're laughing, and I know there are teenagers clowning around on the trail again. It wouldn't be the first time. They never do anything too bad, though we found cigarette butts and empty bottles of booze. I don't get mad about it. I was a stupid teenager once. I did worse. I go to the bed. I pull the blankets back. "It's just dumb kids, Lily. There's nothing to be afraid of. Come to bed," I say. But even as she turns away from the window and slips under the sheets with me, I sense Lily's hesitation. She's not so sure.
Nina. I must have fallen asleep with the TV on. Whatever I was watching has given way to the 10 o'clock news, which glows garishly in the darkness of the house, the volume obnoxiously loud. Lying on my side on the sofa, my eyes half open, I watch it. Today, a mid-rise apartment building in the city caught fire and collapsed. There was a shooting on the south side. It's all bad news. The news puts this on because it's what people want to see. It's a sickness. It's not that the world is innately bad or that bad things happen more often than good things. It's that we're drawn to bad things. Death sells. I turn the news off. I hate watching it. I push myself upright on the sofa into a sitting position, rubbing at a kink in my neck. I must have been lying on it funny. Despite the nap, I don't feel any more rested. If anything, I feel more tired. I just need to carry myself up to bed. but Jake isn't home yet, and I don't want to go to bed before he is. I want to talk to him. I want to talk things out. Things got heated last night, and I feel bad for it now. Looking back on it, it was mostly my fault. But in the moment, I was being stubborn. I didn't see it that way. I said things I shouldn't have said, and it's been eating at me all day. I thought over and over again about calling him at work to apologize. But I didn't want to interrupt him because he's so busy when he's at work, doing things that matter, like saving lives. He never likes it when I call him at work. The papers I was grading are fanned out on the coffee table. I only got through a few of them before nodding off. They're for my honors English classes. We've just finished reading 1984, and the kids were asked to write about ways in which our modern society is Orwellian. I love reading their responses. I didn't mean to sleep for as long as I did. I told myself I was just going to close my eyes for a bit, and then get back to grading. But I must have slept for hours. I feel guilty now because I promised the kids I would have them graded by tomorrow. They put so much work into them and are anxious to know what they got. The honors kids are hard on themselves. But now it's dark outside, and I'm tired, worried about what happened with Jake and needing him to come home so that we can talk. I stand from the sofa and go to the kitchen for coffee. It's been a long time since I've pulled an all-nighter, but a good night's sleep is not in the cards for me. I fill the Keurig's water reservoir, replace it on the unit, and let it warm, checking my phone to see if I missed a call or a text from Jake. It's 10:35 at night. I don't know why he isn't home. Jake saw patients in his office today. These days tend to be his shorter days because there's a predictability about them. Patients come in for consults or pre-op appointments. They have set appointment times, which may run over a few minutes if a patient is late or Jake gets behind, but never by more than a few minutes. The rest of the time, Jake spends these days catching up on paperwork. If anything, he said non-surgery days are boring. Jake prefers being in surgery because that's when he's at his best. Despite that, the days he performs surgeries are astonishingly long. He wakes up at 4:30 in the morning when the alarm goes off on his watch. The workday starts just after dawn with rounds, pre-checks, and discussing patients on his list with the rest of the surgical team. They end sometimes as late as 9 or 10 o'clock. Surgery days are the most unpredictable, too. While surgeries are sometimes planned, like removing a tumor, sometimes, like last week, a patient comes in with a gunshot wound to the head, and Jake has to spend unanticipated hours trying to save a life. That gunshot victim died. She was practically dead to begin with. That's how Jake phrased it. There is a detachment in the way he speaks of his patients, because there has to be. He can't get all emotional about it, otherwise he wouldn't be a good surgeon. There is a whole psychology about how doctors like him get through the day. It started in med school for Jake, where he referred to cadavers as things, not people, so he could cut into them more easily. For most people, seeing a dead body is a defining moment in their life. For Jake, it's frequent. With this gunshot victim, Jake said that even before she landed on his operating table, before he cut into her, she was fucked. Her odds of survival were infinitesimal, something like 5%, with even smaller odds of her having a good quality of life if she survived. That must have been hard for you, then, knowing she was likely to die and still doing the surgery anyway. It must feel futile, I'd said, trying to be empathetic because there's been a rift between Jake and me these past few months. He says it's my fault, and I've been trying so hard to be present in the moment, to not be distracted by other things when I'm with Jake. He was drinking a whiskey sour. He lowered it to the table, his eyes watching me intensely over the glass. I think he took offense at what I'd said. I wasn't trying to suggest that what he did for a living was futile. But that was what he heard. What I did often felt futile, too. Talking for hours to students who were half asleep and not listening. How could you be so sure she wouldn't survive? I asked. With gunshot wounds. It depends mostly on the location and trajectory of the bullet, Jake said, sounding smart. This bullet entered her head at the anterior temporal lobe. It traveled from one side of the brain to the other, crossing the midline, which is not ideal, he said, as if there was an ideal way for a bullet to travel in one's brain. The bullet went in, but it didn't come out. It tore through both hemispheres, all 4 lobes of the brain before getting lodged in there. Did she die in surgery? After. How? Brainstem death. What does that mean? The brainstem. I could see him thinking in his head how to dumb this down for me. I was grateful, not offended. Sometimes he throws out words like globulus pallidus and acoustic neuromas as if I should know what they mean. He's so used to tossing them around with ease among colleagues, he forgets I'm not one of them, that I didn't go to med school for years. It's responsible for all the things that keep us alive. Breathing, blood circulation, digesting food. When the brainstem is dead, you are too. Like being in a vegetative state? I'd asked. No, he said. He took a sip of his whiskey sour while I waited for an explanation. It's different. Because a person in a vegetative state still shows signs of brainstem function. How old was she? 29. Who shot her? Her husband. I wished I hadn't asked. I didn't want to know any of it. Unlike Jake, I couldn't be detached. I thought about it for the next 24 hours at least, wondering what happened between them to precipitate her husband shooting her in the head. On surgery days, there is never any telling when Jake will be home. If an emergency surgery comes in, he stays until it's done. But today isn't a surgery day. He should have been home hours ago. I try calling him now, but Jake's phone is off or dead because it routes straight to voicemail. It's not like Jake to let his phone die. I leave a voicemail for when he has a chance to charge it, keeping it light, asking him to call me when he can. I don't say that I'm worried or that I'm wondering where he is, because maybe I've mixed up my days, and today was a surgery day after all. I've been distracted lately. My mother's health is failing. She's going blind, and then if that wasn't bad enough, the doctors recently found a mass in her left breast. We need to do a biopsy and see if it's malignant or benign. I'm a pessimist, and so in my head I've already decided. It's malignant. If that's the case, we will have to decide what to do. Keep the breast or get rid of it. My mother can't make a decision to save her life, which leaves all the decision-making to me. She's not that old to be going through all this, but both things, macular degeneration and breast cancer, are in her genes, which means they're in my genes, too. The doctor's appointments are endless. The general practitioner, mammographer, ophthalmologist, and soon a surgical oncologist. I've had to take days off work for them. The appointments fill the hours when I'm not teaching, and when I'm not with my mother, I'm thinking about and worrying about her, obsessing over decisions like lumpectomy or mastectomy, knowing if I make the wrong choice when the time comes, my mother will die for it. Because of it, Jake and I have grown distant from each other. It was the impetus for last night's fight. How I care about everyone and everything but him. It's not true. But I can see why he would think it. Except that last night I'd turned it around on him. I devalued his feelings and made him feel bad for the way he felt. After screaming at each other, Jake took his pillow and slept on the sofa. He left this morning after hardly speaking to me, and without really saying goodbye. Now he's not home, and he's not answering his phone, and I'm worried I know why.
Christian. In the middle of the night, Lily is crying. "What is it, baby? What's wrong?" I ask, curling myself around her. Her crying is a quiet whimper that she tries to suppress, but I'm a light sleeper. It doesn't take much to wake me. I hear her cry, but more than that, I feel the vibration of her body against mine. Lily is turned away from me in bed. Her back is pressed into me. She doesn't tell me what's wrong. "Bad dream?" I ask, feeling the back of her head nod against my chest. "Here," I say, "let me get you some water," pushing against the weight of the quilt, which levels us in bed. "No," Lily says, reaching for my hand. "Please, just stay here, Christian. Just stay with me." I lower my head to the pillow. I sink back into bed and wrap my arm around her. If I didn't know any better, I'd think Lily was scared. In the morning, Lily is awake before me. She always is. She's showered and dressed, and she's downstairs, standing at the kitchen island in the dark, eating a piece of toast, while I just rolled out of bed. "Will you tell me about it?" I ask, coming to stand at the island opposite her, about the dream. Lily stares back, her brown eyes reluctant. "I didn't have a dream," she confesses. I cock my head. "What were you thinking about then? Why were you so upset last night?" I ask. There's a long pause before Lily tells me. "I went for a walk yesterday after work at Langley Woods," she says. Langley Woods is a large forest preserve. Lily and I have been there before. We've gone together to run or to take our dog for walks, when we had one. It's not far from our house. There is a waterfall, though it's small, more like a dam than anything, and over 10 miles of hiking trails. "The doctor said walking would be good for me. Safe," she reminds me, as if defending something she hasn't yet said, asserting that what happened isn't her fault. Lily is a distance runner, but she's laid off running since she found out she was pregnant. There were 3 miscarriages before this, each pregnancy ending before the end of the first trimester. Lily blames herself for them, as if something she did or didn't do is what led to the miscarriage. "That's good," I say. "A little exercise, a little fresh air. That's good." My voice is calm, encouraging, supportive, but inside, my heart is beating a little faster than it was a minute ago, because I'm wondering if Lily is going to say that something happened to the baby, that she lost the baby yesterday. My palms are clammy now. They start to sweat. The last time it happened, she was 9 weeks along, like now. We'd already been to the doctor. We'd had an ultrasound and heard the baby's heartbeat. The doctor had told us that the risk of miscarriage went down after detecting a fetal heartbeat for the first time to something like a few percent, 4 or 5, I can't remember. Still, the doctor was wrong. She filled us with false hope. We didn't think anything bad could happen at that point. Shame on us. Lily had a history with recurrent miscarriages by then. She wasn't like other women the doctor saw. That small 4 or 5% included Lily, because she lost that baby even after hearing a heartbeat. Lily was at work when it happened, sitting in on an IEP meeting when she felt the rush of blood between her legs. She sat there until the end of the meeting, until everyone else had cleared the room. When she stood up, she looked down and saw the blood on the chair. It came as no surprise, but was no less devastating. Now, Lily's hand shakes as she reaches for her water bottle. She unscrews the cap, brings it to her mouth, and takes a long swig. She lowers the water bottle slowly back to the countertop and replaces the cap. It's dragged out. She's searching for the words to tell me the baby is dead, that she lost it yesterday when she was at Langley Woods. She came home, She showered, washing the blood away. The baby's gone. That's why she was so upset last night. There will be a DNC to clean out what's left of it. It's old hat. We've done this before. This is nothing new for us. Lily's voice shakes when she speaks. Jake Hayes was there, she says. It's not what I expect to hear. It takes a second to regroup, to replace thoughts of miscarriage with Jake's face. Oh yeah? I ask, flooding with relief that this has nothing to do with the baby. I let out a breath. I feel my body sag. My shoulders droop forward. I didn't realize how much tension I was holding in until I release it. They say that emotional pain is far worse than any physical pain you can experience, which makes the relief from it all the more profound. The baby is fine. I'm still going to be a dad. Everything is okay. Did you talk to him? I ask, my tone turning optimistic. How's he doing? We haven't seen him in what, 6 months? Nina Hayes teaches at the high school with Lily. She and her husband, Jake, are mutual friends. Lily sees Nina almost every day, but it's been a while since either of us has seen Jake. He's a surgeon. He's too busy saving lives to hang out with us. What I realize is that Lily's whole body is now shaking. What started as a shakiness in her hands and her voice has spread. You look like you're freezing, I say, coming around to her side of the island, reaching forward to run my hands along Lily's arms for friction, up and down, up and down. It's not cold in the house, but I run warm. Even in December, I've been known to crack a window. But it's September still. It's too early to turn on the heat, not when the temperatures still reach 80 some days, even if they do drop to the upper 40s and 50s at night. Are you feeling okay? I ask, touching her forehead with the back of my hand. She doesn't feel warm, but still I say, why don't you call in sick today? Take the day off. Rest. I can't, Lily says. I'm giving a test tomorrow. I promised the kids we'd go over their study guides today, so they're ready for it. Lily is far too conscientious. It's her one weakness, if it's even a weakness. Can't a sub do it? I ask. Shaking her head, Lily says, no, the subs are good, but they're not me. They don't always know the answers. They don't always explain it right. I don't want the kids to get stressed. If I call in for the day, I'll have to push the test back, and then we'll be behind. So? It's not worth it. I'm okay, she says decisively, pulling away from my hand. I can go. I'll just nap when I get home. Tomorrow is Wednesday already, I say, to try and brighten her mood. 2 days down. Just 3 days until the weekend. And then for 48 hours, you don't have to get out of bed. I'm at your beck and call. Anything you need, back rub, foot rub, breakfast in bed, I'm your guy. 3 days until the weekend is almost the most pathetic consolation prize ever. But I'm trying. She humors me with a smile. Sounds amazing, she says. Lily leaves her plate with half a piece of toast behind. She takes her water bottle and moves toward the garage door to leave. She mostly wears pants these days, as the days get cooler, and because she feels more comfortable in pants. Today, they're leggings with a stretchy waist. She's gained maybe a pound or two, the kind of weight gain noticeable to her, but no one else. She hasn't told anyone we're pregnant. The leggings look incredible on her, but then again, anything would look incredible on her. Lily picks up her bag by the door. She lifts it onto her shoulder. It looks heavy, and I go to take it from her, to carry it to her car for her, but she says she's fine. You sure? Yes, I'm sure. Have a good day. Love you, she says. Hey. What? You never told me about seeing Jake, I remind her, remembering then. She stops with her back to me, her hand on the garage door handle. Is he doing good? I ask. Lily wheels slowly around. She looks at me, and then she looks at the clock above my head. I glance back over my shoulder. It's a big, oversized clock, the little hand pointing at the Roman numeral 6. School starts before 7 for her, which is ridiculous if you ask me. What high schooler is up and functional at 7 in the morning? It's black outside when Lily leaves for work, the only saving grace being that she's home before 3 o'clock, hours before me. I don't envy her in the mornings, but I do when afternoon comes. "I have to go," she says, "or I'll be late. I'll tell you tonight, okay?" "Okay," I say. "Love you." Lily leaves. I move to the front of the house to watch her headlights pull out of the garage and off down the street. The day gets away from me. For the next 8 hours, I don't think again about Jake Hayes or what Lily was going to say to me about running into him.
Nina. Jake never came home. It's all I can think about. I stayed awake until after 2 in the morning, grading papers, or trying to anyway. But I didn't get through all of them. I had my phone beside me the whole time, in case he tried to call or text. He didn't. I wanted to call or text him again, but I'd already sent 3 texts and left the voicemail. I told myself that he would call when he was ready to talk. I didn't want to make things worse by annoying him. He didn't come home for a reason, and that reason was me. He didn't want to see me. He didn't want to talk to me. I messed up, but Jake is notorious for holding grudges. I worry what happens if he doesn't forgive me. Now it's 3rd period, and the kids are energetic and overexcited. Someone in the foods lab started a fire by accident that just triggered the alarm. The fire department came and we had to go outside. It was all relatively quick. We couldn't have been outside for more than 15 minutes. But now that we're back in the classroom, there's a frenetic energy to the room. Only some of the kids are in their chairs. The rest are moseying around the room, taking their time getting back to their desks, going the long way so they can stop and chat with friends. "Let's focus, people," I say, clapping twice, though I myself am anything but focused. I've practically given up on teaching for this period. Maybe for the day. And if it wasn't for the student teacher at the back of the room watching me, I'd put on a movie and be done with it. "We only have a few minutes to get through the rest of these notes." 3rd period is one of my regular English classes. They're good kids, but not as driven. Not as conscientious or well-behaved as my honors kids. I have to ask 3 times for them to get back to their desks, and another time for them to be quiet. It's a wasted effort. No sooner are they quiet than the bell rings. The kids bolt from the room for their next class. I head straight for my phone in the top drawer of my desk to see if Jake has called. At the same time, the teacher from next door, Ryan Schroeder, pokes his head in. "Sounded like a circus in here." I've already pulled my phone out of the drawer. I look at it. My face must give away my disappointment. I hear Ryan, but I can't look at him and I can't answer him because I'm so upset by the blank screen. It's just the home screen image. A photograph of Jake and me. Ryan gives me a minute, and then he asks gently, "Is everything okay, Nina?" Jake hasn't called. My heart sinks, and I fire off one more text, telling myself this is the last one I'll send until he calls me back. "Please call me, Jake. I'm so sorry. Let's talk about it. You were right. I was wrong. I miss you. I love you." Jake would have had to stay at a hotel last night. He isn't the type to impose and sleep on a friend's sofa or something like that. Not to mention that he isn't the type to air his dirty laundry. He'd much rather splurge on a nice room and room service. I think about him enjoying room service while I stayed up grading papers and worrying about him all night long. I'm practically dead on my feet now, just trying to get through this day, but already worrying about what happens if he doesn't come home again tonight. For how long will he freeze me out and refuse to acknowledge my calls and texts? I wonder, though, what he would have done for clean clothes. Would he have gone home this morning after I left for work to change? Would he have gone to the store and picked up something new? Or would he have just worn scrubs from the hospital? It's not only clothes, either. Jake would have needed toothpaste, deodorant. If I get home and they're not there, I'll know he's been by the house when I wasn't home. I said things the other night that I didn't mean. The worst one being, if you hate it here so much, then why don't you just leave? As they say, be careful what you wish for. You'd like that, wouldn't you? Jake had asked. We were in the bedroom, standing on either side of the bed, squared off. I should have said no, that I wouldn't like that at all, that I'd hate it, actually. But instead, I'd stayed silent, glaring. He took my silence as a yes. It wasn't the first time we ever fought, but it was the first time it escalated to that level. Fighting about the time I spend with my mother has become something common between Jake and me. It used to be that he didn't want me to spend any time with her. He wanted me all to himself. And I'd be lying if I said some part of me didn't find pleasure in this. But when her health began to fail, I couldn't exactly neglect her. Nor did I want to. She's my mother. Nina? I come to. I snap out of it. That mental image of my husband's angry face disappears and is replaced with Ryan's empathic face. He's stepped into the classroom now, and he studies me with his dark eyes, his head cocked and curious. He asks again, "Is everything okay?" My student teacher still sits at the back of the room, scribbling away in a notebook, pretending not to listen. Despite being 21 or 22, legally an adult, he's a boy in a man's body, with close-cut blonde hair, dreamy green eyes, newly emergent facial hair, and a forgivable amount of acne. The kids like him, though he could just as easily be one of them. "I'm sorry, Ryan," I say, shaking my head. "I got distracted. What were you saying?" "The fire drill," he says. "I said it sounded like a circus in here." "I'm so sorry." I apologize again. The kids were so wound up. I didn't have it in me to fight them. Not when the period was so close to being done. "Hey," he says. "You don't have to be sorry. I was just checking that they didn't have you tied up somewhere." Ryan laughs. I force a smile, but I still feel embarrassed that he could hear the mayhem all the way next door, even though my door was closed. My student teacher must think I'm an idiot. I should have made more of an effort to quiet the kids, if not for me, then to set a better example of classroom discipline. I glance down at my phone again, in case I somehow missed a notification. It's not lost on Ryan. "Are you sure everything is okay?" "Yes, fine. I just need to run and see Lily, if you don't mind." "Of course not. Not at all." Ryan steps aside so that I can leave, brushing past him on the way through the door. I don't have a class fourth period. I tell my student teacher I'll be right back, and then I head to Lily's room, which is in the math hall. It's still passing periods, and the hallways during passing periods are mobbed with kids. They're elbow to elbow and practically impenetrable, even for a teacher. High schoolers are also adult-sized. Aside from the way I'm dressed, it's sometimes hard to tell us apart. Even at 5'7", I look just like any other student. They don't make room for me to pass in the hall. Once I get to Lily's room, I peek in the open door. Unlike me, Lily has a fourth period class. There is about a minute left of passing periods, and maybe only a third of the desks are filled. The kids are still out in the hall, chatting with friends. They like to cut it close. Lily stands at her desk. She's talking to Colin Minor, a student we share. Lily is teensy, and so he dwarfs her. She's also incredibly beautiful, wearing these plaid leggings that only someone like her could pull off. She wears a mock-neck sweater that's loose without being sack-like. She has the figure for it. The sweater hangs down to her upper thigh, her long brunette hair lying in waves down her back. She wears almost no makeup. Lily doesn't need makeup. I've overheard girls say things about how pretty Lily, Mrs. Scott, is, and how nice. She's a favorite among teenagers, which is a major triumph, since teenagers are notoriously hard to impress, especially as the math teacher. It's no secret that almost no one likes math. Almost no one likes English either. Teenagers like nothing but their phones and their friends, I've learned. But English, at least, tends to come easier than algebra for most students. Lily smiles when she sees me hovering just inside the door, waiting for her to finish up with Colin. She tips her head and waves, and I see the concern in her eyes, the question. She's wondering what I'm doing here. Our classrooms are in different halls, though they're on the same floor. Still, it's not that easy to get from one room to the other. Not in the 4 minutes the kids are allotted for passing periods. It's not that often that I stop by Lily's room during the day. "Nina, hi," she says, coming to me as Colin Minor returns to his seat. "Hey," up close. Lily doesn't look as perfect as she did from a distance. She looks beat, as if I'm one to talk. There are bags under her eyes, and she wears only one earring, the same small silver hoop with a drop pearl that she wears every day. "Can I talk to you for a quick sec? In private?" I ask. "Yeah, of course. Just give me a minute," she says. The bell rings, and the last few kids run in into their seats, practically diving into them. Lily gets the kids started, and then she and I step into the hall, where she pulls the door to but not closed, so that it doesn't lock on her, and so that she can keep an eye on what's happening inside the classroom. "What's going on?" she asks. "You're missing an earring," I tell her. Her fingers go to her earlobes, touching them. "Oh," Lily says, her expression changing. She looks sad. Upset, I think, that she lost the earring. "Thanks," she says, frowning as she takes the other earring out, fastens the back, and folds it into her hand. "Is everything okay?" she asks, crossing her arms against the mock-neck sweater. "No," I say. "I don't think so. I don't mean for them to, but my eyes fill with tears. I'm not one to cry. But I'm so tired, and the lack of sleep, as well as what's happening with Jake, is a lethal combination." Lily is sympathetic, and crying is contagious. For a second, Lily looks like she could cry too. "Nina," she says. Lily unknots her arms and reaches for my hand, squeezing it. I squeeze back. "What is it?" she asks. "What's wrong?" I don't hold back because it's Lily. Lily and I have been friends for years, and not just work friends, but real friends. We tell each other practically everything. Lily isn't one to judge. It's not like she and Christian have the perfect marriage, because no one does. Everyone fights sometimes. Every marriage goes through hard times. Jake and I got into a stupid argument the other night. Stupid but nasty. I said some things I shouldn't have said. He did too. Really hurtful things. It's not like we haven't fought before. But this was different. Worse. "Why?" she asks, willing to talk despite having a classroom of teenagers waiting on her. I'm grateful for that. "Because, Lily," I say, hesitating a beat, almost ashamed to admit it, even to Lily. And because saying it out loud makes it real. "He didn't come home last night." Lily's mouth parts. Her eyes get wide. She lets go of my hand, her arms going to hang stiffly at her sides. It's unintentional, I think, because she realizes quickly that she's made this very obvious reaction, and she tries reversing it because she doesn't want to make me feel worse than I already do. Oh, God, Nina, I'm so sorry, she says, blinking slowly, and then she hides her surprise behind a sympathetic smile and reaches again for my hand. It's bad, isn't it? I ask. That he didn't come home? Lily goes to shake her head, to say no, when I ask, has Christian ever not come home? Hoping her answer is yes. I mean, it can't be that uncommon. People fight, feelings get hurt. It's not like you want to see that person the next day and pretend everything is okay. You need time for the situation to diffuse. If he had come home, Jake and I would probably have just wound up fighting again because our emotions were still high. What good would that have done? Lily is brutally honest. No, she says. I'm sorry. I almost wish the answer was yes. But no, he hasn't ever not come home. But that's just Christian, Nina. He's always the first to cave when we fight. I don't even know that he's always sorry when he says he is. He just hates conflict. He would do anything to avoid it. That's sweet. It sounds like Christian. Christian is a good guy. But it makes me feel exponentially worse about myself and about my situation with Jake. I wish Lily would have just lied and said the answer was yes to appease me. How would I have known it wasn't true? Have you tried calling him? She asks. Yes, many times. It goes to voicemail. What were you fighting about? She asks. But before I can explain, there is an eruption of noise from inside the classroom. Someone must have done something, and the class exploded into raucous laughter. A few kids are out of their seats, and almost no one is doing what Lily asked them to do. Listen, she says. I have to get back to my class. Let's talk about this later, okay? She gives my hand a final squeeze, and I say yes, of course, that I'm sorry to have kept her so long. But later, at the end of the day when I go back to Lily's classroom to talk it out, she's already gone.
Christian. It's 2:20 in the afternoon when Lily texts. I'm in the middle of a meeting. A handful of us sit around a conference table working on a survey for a client. I look down at my phone. Lily's text reads, "Can you leave early? Can you meet me at home? If not, that's okay." This is so classic Lily, to not want to put anyone out. Hey, I say to my colleagues, still staring down at Lily's text and thinking the worst again, that Lily has lost the baby. If not yesterday, then today. I push my chair back and stand up, glad this isn't a meeting with a client. It's not a huge deal if I leave. I hate to do this, I say, packing up my things and pushing my chair in, but I've got to run. I'm in my car, pulling out of the parking lot within 5 minutes. 2 minutes later, I'm heading eastbound on 88, where my speedometer reaches 85 miles per hour. Lily is in the leather chair again when I come in. It's a swivel chair. Today, it's turned to face the garage door, so she sees me arrive, having to use my key to unlock the door because it's locked, which it never is. We always leave that door unlocked. Lily must have locked it by mistake. "What is it? What's wrong?" I ask, tossing my keys on the island and practically running to her. As expected, the day got warm. As soon as the sun came out, the temperatures rose by 30 degrees. Now, the sun streams in the wall of windows on the back of the house, falling across Lily's lap. She's stripped down to a tank top and leggings because of the heat, and sits with her legs pulled into her, cross-legged in the chair. There are scratches on her arm and shoulder, some quite deep. This is the first time I'm seeing them. "What happened?" I ask, lowering myself to the floor, running a finger over them before gazing benevolently up at her, into her eyes. "Did you fall?" Her eyes are wet, and I know that she's been crying. Lily is reluctant to speak. I leave her and go for the antiseptic and antibacterial ointment, and then I come back and clean her arm. She's like a rag doll, lying limp while I manipulate her arm to get to the scratches. "Tell me, Lily," I say, as I take care of the wounds. "Tell me what's wrong." I think she must have fallen and landed on the baby. The baby is dead. It has to be. She doesn't say. "Lily," I say, "why did you need me to come home?" "I'm sorry. I should have just waited until after you were through with work. I shouldn't have asked you to leave." "It's fine. It was a quiet day. But I'm here now. Please tell me." It wasn't exactly a quiet day. Besides the meeting with colleagues this afternoon, I spent the morning liaising with clients, getting to know prospective clients, and updating existing ones on progress. I'm working on multiple projects right now, and need to make sure that at any given time, they all run smoothly. Mine is usually a 9-to-5 job, but there are things I didn't get done today, because I was in meetings all day, and because I left early, that I'll need to do tonight. It doesn't matter. Lily is what matters. She closes her eyes. She takes a deep breath. "Please, Lily." Her hands are on her lap, folded into fists. She unfolds one. There, on the palm of her hand, is an earring. I gave Lily those earrings years ago, on our 5th anniversary. The 5th anniversary is traditionally supposed to be wood, and so I hid the earrings inside a wooden jewelry box engraved with her name. She said she loved them. I think she's worn the earrings every day since, which is how I know she does love them, and is one of the many ways I know she loves me. "I'm sorry," she says. "I'm so sorry. I lost one." I look up at Lily in disbelief that she's so upset about the earring. "It's fine," I say, shaking my head. "It's no big deal. They were cheap, Lily, like $25 or something." I lie. They're white gold, with a small pearl. That pair of earrings cost $200, but it really doesn't matter as long as Lily and the baby are fine. "I'll get you another pair." "Is that what you're so upset about?" I ask. But I realize it's not, because there are also the scratches on her arms and the empty look in her eyes. She shakes her head. "I told you I saw Jake Hayes at Langley Woods," she says carefully. And again I'm thrown, because I thought this was about the baby. I thought something bad had happened to the baby. I'm surprised to hear Jake's name again. To be honest, I'd forgotten all about Lily seeing him yesterday on her walk. "Yes," I say, nodding. "Yes, you did." She looks away, out the windows at the river. The sun shines down on it, turning the water blue. There is a gentle breeze outside. Tiny ripples form on the river's surface. Seagulls fly above it, swooping down for fish. Lily won't look at me when she says, "I didn't tell you everything." "Okay," I say. I set the antibiotic ointment aside. I put my hands on either side of her face and force her to look at me. "You know you can tell me anything, Lily. There's nothing you could ever say that would change the way I feel about you." "I was just there walking, like the doctor said to do. She said gentle exercise might help with the nausea and fatigue." "Right. I was there. I remember her saying that." "It was such a pretty day, too. I was happy that I thought of taking a walk. I was happy I had a little energy for it, because I've been so tired, you know." I nod. I know. She's been so tired. "I parked in the lot off Riley Road. I was just going to walk a mile or two, and then turn back. I didn't want to overdo it. There were other people there, you know. It wasn't crowded, but I wasn't alone either. There were a half-dozen other cars in the lot. I passed people on the trail. I didn't think it was unsafe." I swallow. What does she mean when she says, unsafe? My eyes go back to her arm. What happened, Lily? I see the movement of her throat when she swallows. I saw Jake, and at first I was glad to see him. Surprised, but glad. It had been so long. We started talking, and he got to telling me how it had been a bad day for him. A patient had died. He'd lost a few patients this week. I didn't know he ever lost patients. I thought he saved them all. I was wrong. It was getting to him, losing patients. He said usually it didn't, but the patients he lost this week were harder than most. Jake told me about it. It was why he was there, I think, to clear his mind, to blow off steam. We walked together for a while, just talking, catching up. And then, I don't know, he said we should go down one of those unmarked trails into the woods. He'd seen deer on the path earlier, and he wanted to see if they were still there, so he could show me. It was a mother with 2 spotted fawns, he said. I should have said no, but it's Jake, you know? I know Jake. It's not like he's a stranger. Lily pauses. The anticipation builds, the suspense killing me. I know what she's going to say, or at least I think I do. I still need her to say it. What did he do, Lily? Did he hurt you? I'm so sorry, Christian, she says. A spasm, a vibration to her voice as she says it. She isn't crying, but she is on the verge of it. Her chest is heavy when she breathes, her lungs falling into her with each breath, practically gasping. I cup her face in my hands. I tell her, you have nothing to be sorry for. Lily talks faster now, her words rushing out like water from the tap. He said he and Nina have been having trouble. He started telling me about it, about how she's been distant lately. Her mother has been sick. They found a mass, among other things. I think I told you that. It's an emotional burden, and Nina has been caring for her mother, which leaves her emotionally unavailable for Jake. Jake said that he needed affirmation and affection from Nina that she wasn't providing, that she couldn't provide because she's always with her mother. He understood. He was sympathetic, but that didn't mean that, as a man, he didn't have needs of his own. That's what he told me. I didn't know what to say. It was so personal, Christian. It was awkward. I didn't feel like he should be telling me any of it. Nina is my friend, not him. It's the kind of thing women tell their girlfriends. I said nothing back. I just listened. And then Jake told me what a good listener I was, how he was so grateful for me. If only Nina could be more like me, he said. She pauses. He tried to kiss me, Christian, she says, and I stand up and fly into a silent rage. Not at Lily, but at him. I know him. We've had dinner together a handful of times. I've been in their home, and they've been to ours. I recommended him to a friend whose wife needed surgery to have a brain tumor removed. I vouched for him, and then he makes a pass at my wife. That son of a bitch, I say, going to stand at the window, looking out. In my head, I think that I could kill him. I'd always mostly liked Jake. He'd been cocky, if anything, a little overconfident, but a good guy, I thought. The thing is, Christian, Lily says, rising up, coming to me, reaching for my arm, that I might have hurt him. What do you mean? I ask, turning away from the window to face Lily. Nina said today that he didn't come home last night. She doesn't know where he is. She hasn't seen him since he left for work yesterday morning. She's worried. Hurt him how? I pushed him away when he tried to kiss me. He didn't like that, being refused. He turned on me. You think you're better than me? That I'm not good enough for you? That's what he said. And then he said something like how I was sending the wrong signals and leading him on. He called me a whore. He was angry, Christian. So angry. And I was scared. We were down one of those paths, far away from the main trail. There wasn't anyone else there. He grabbed me by the arms. Like this, she says, fastening her tiny fists around my upper arms. And I see on hers now, when the light hits them, how there are the marks of Jake's hands. His fingerprints bruised on her skin, some made black and blue. Lily is upset as she describes how he pushed her, and how she fell to the ground, and how she wasn't sure that he might not try and rape her. She got onto her hands and knees and tried crawling away, but he grabbed her by the ankles and pulled her back so that she fell to her face, and not just her face, but her abdomen, where the baby, our baby, my baby is. I don't breathe, as she describes it for me. There was a rock. I could reach it. It was large, big enough that it fit my whole hand. It was partially buried, and I didn't know if I was even going to be able to get it out of the dirt. I didn't think about what I was doing. I just had to get away from him, you know? She asks, and she's crying now. And she doesn't have to tell me how she hit him with the rock. It's okay. It's fine, I say, running my hand the length of her hair, pulling her body into mine, comforting her. You did the right thing, babe. His eyes went wide, like this, she says, showing me with hers, like I'd surprised him. He staggered, and then fell away from me to the ground. There was blood coming from his head. How much blood? I ask. A decent amount. Was he conscious? Yes, I think so. His eyes were open. But he fell? She nods. Yes. How many times did you hit him? Just the once? A few times, maybe, she says. It happened so fast. It was a reflex. I felt like I had to do whatever I could to get away. For me, for the baby. She's talking so fast now. I didn't think about what might happen to him. He fell, and then I ran as fast as I could. I kept running until I got back to the car. I didn't look back. I didn't know if he'd gotten up, if he was coming after me. Why do you think he didn't come home, Christian? Do you think I... And then she gasps, and her hand goes to her mouth. No, I say decisively. She didn't kill him. I take her hands into mine, only now seeing dirt wedged beneath her fingernails, the broken nails from where she'd clawed that rock out of the earth. No, Lily. I think that fucking coward was too afraid to go home. There would have been a gash on his head, a bruise, right? How would he have explained that? And he probably thought you'd tell Nina what he'd done. Did you tell Nina what happened? I ask, and she shakes her head erratically, her hair falling into her eyes, and says no, that she thought about it, but that she couldn't bring herself to tell Nina because she didn't want to hurt her like that. Nina would have been devastated if she knew what Jake tried to do. Later, she shows me the marks left behind from Jake. It's not just on her arms. Her knees and a shin are skinned from crawling away from him. A palm is bruised from where she caught herself when she fell, when he pushed her to the ground. The emotional wounds are worse. Lily is scared. She's haunted by what happened. She thinks he might be out there somewhere, angry, seeking revenge. I tell her no, but I don't know where Jake is, and I don't know why he didn't go home to Nina. You should have seen his face, Christian, she says, trembling. I've never seen anyone so angry. His face was red. He was sweating. There was spit coming from his mouth. She shakes her head. There's fear in her eyes. She's reliving it. Lily, stop, I say gently, but she keeps talking. I don't know, Christian. He just snapped. Jake snapped. That's one way to put it. We've all been there before. We've all had those moments where we freak out, where we act aggressively in a way that feels beyond our control. It's a rage response. Once, I cursed out some 20-year-old kid on the side of the road who rear-ended me. I almost broke a computer because the page was loading too slowly and I didn't have the patience to wait. In high school, I punched my fist through wired glass after missing a shot that would have won us the conference basketball game. We lost the game. I needed stitches. I still have a scar. But Jake Hayes took it too far. As night falls, Lily moves away from the wall of windows that face the river, telling me she feels exposed in our home. I dim the lights, but short of turning them off, were still visible from the outside. There is a vaulted ceiling in the family room, with 2 floors of windows. We couldn't figure out how to cover them when we moved in, so we didn't. We left them bare. We preferred the undisrupted view at the time, the river, the trees. But now, I wonder if it's possible that Jake is out there somewhere, watching her, watching us. There are really only 2 options. That Jake didn't go home last night because of Nina, and because he knew he could get into serious trouble, maybe jail time for what he'd done, if Lily pressed charges. Or that Lily hurt him so much that he couldn't go home. "Should we call the police?" Lily asks. "Why?" I ask. I don't mean it to be hostile. I'm wondering if she wants to call the police to press charges, or if she wants to call the police and confess to something she did. It's not a silly question. I'd been wondering it too, but I never came to a decision. I want Lily to call the police, to press charges. I want Jake to pay for what he did, or for what he tried to do, for his intentions. But if Lily hurt him, or worse, if she left him there bleeding, if she waited 24 hours to report what happened, then, on some level, she's also in the wrong. "Let's not," I tell her. "Not yet." "I should text Nina," she says. "Why?" "To see if he came home, to see if she's okay." I think it through. She's probably right, because that's what she would do if Jake was missing, and she had nothing to do with it. She would check on her friend. I go through the clothes in the hamper after she's in bed. I find what Lily was wearing yesterday, buried beneath other things. The pants are black, but the shirt is white. It has dirt on it, and debris, like from leaves. One of the buttons is missing. A white thread hanging loose. All of that enrages me. But the thing that worries me most is how the right cuff is wet with blood.
Nina. I have to take my mother to the ophthalmologist after work. She has macular degeneration. She's losing her central vision, which is what she needs for things like to read and to drive. She's only 62. She's not old. She has trouble recognizing people's faces. That's how we knew there was a serious problem, though I thought at first that it was something like Alzheimer's. So when the diagnosis came in, I was somewhat relieved. She can't even go to the grocery store anymore without help, because she can't see well enough to get there or to find the items she needs. The thing that's totally infuriating is how capable and sharp she is despite the declining vision. She has her wits about her still. It's not fair. Until recently, she was completely independent, and now she relies on me for everything. It feels sometimes like that changed overnight. She has the wet form of macular degeneration, which is maybe worse. There is blood leaking into the retina. She receives anti-VEGF injections in the eye to stop or slow the progression. It's horrible to watch. It makes me never want to get old, to want to die young. My mother has her peripheral vision still. It's not that she's blind. She doesn't run into things. She can somewhat see. It's that, from the way she describes it, there is a blind spot in the center of her field of vision, like someone took a crayon and scribbled over it. I drive my mother home after her appointment. I walk her into her house. "Why don't you stay for dinner?" she asks. "I can't. Sorry, not tonight, Mom." "Why not? It's not like Jake will be home," she says, because Jake is at work, and because my mother knows how Jake gets when I spend too much time with her. Still, I say no again, that I can't, because I'm anxious to get home and see if there is any sign that Jake has been there. I don't tell my mother this. She doesn't know about Jake's and my fight, and I won't tell her about it because ultimately what we were fighting about was her. I have too many papers to grade, I say instead. And my mother says okay, but she looks sad, as she always does when I go. I hate leaving her. I don't get back to my house until close to 6. When I do, there's no sign that Jake has been home. None of his clothes are obviously missing, and his toiletries look untouched. It comes as a punch to the gut. I stand in the bathroom doorway, holding on to the doorframe, not sure what to do with myself. It's getting darker outside. The sun is going down. I can't stand the idea of another night in this house alone, and wonder how long Jake plans to be mad at me. I'm used to coming home and Jake not being here. This is nothing new. I'm used to being alone, knowing that eventually Jake always comes home. I've never minded being alone before, especially after work, because it's my me time, my time to decompress from the day. But now, standing in the empty house, knowing Jake might not come home all night, I feel more alone and lonely than ever. The house feels suddenly vacant. It's too large of a house for us because one day, Jake and I think we want kids, though I'm getting older and time is running out. We're not there yet because of Jake's work schedule. The last thing he wants, he said, is to be an absentee father like his had been. He wouldn't even entertain the idea of kids when he was doing his residency. But now that that's through, he's started to ponder it, or at least indulge me when I bring it up. We have 3 extra bedrooms in the house. I don't know that I need to fill them all with kids, but at least one would be nice. To experience being a mother once in my life. I turn on the TV to delude myself into thinking I'm not alone. The sound of voices brings comfort. I find my laptop. At some point during the day, I figured out that if I check the credit card statement online, I'll be able to see where Jake spent the night. I don't know what I'll do with this information. I don't think I would go to the hotel and make him talk to me. That might make things worse. Jake doesn't do anything Jake doesn't want to do. But it will be good to know where he is. I sit down at the kitchen table. I go to the bank's website and log in, scrolling through the most recent purchases. I'm expecting to see some upscale hotel, because Jake would die before sleeping at a Holiday Inn. But to my surprise, there are no recent hotel stays. I try telling myself there is only a delay in posting. But I don't think so, because I think what usually happens with hotels is that they post pending charges the minute you check in, and then later, refund that incidentals deposit if you don't spend it. Even more worrisome is that there are no charges in the last 36 hours at all, other than my own. There is a charge for a Starbucks near Jake's office from early Monday morning. But after that, it's as if Jake has gone off the grid, and I wonder if it's deliberate. I navigate to the checking account to see if Jake took out cash. Maybe he's using cash so that I can't track him. Can you even pay for a hotel with cash? I feel sick inside at the growing possibility that Jake is trying to stay hidden. He doesn't want me to find him. He doesn't want to fix our marriage. What if Jake has left me for good? There are no recent withdrawals from the checking account. How can Jake be getting by without the use of cash or credit cards? How is he paying for things? I'm relieved to see our accounts intact, that Jake hasn't transferred our money to some offshore account to spite me. He doesn't hate me that much. I earn a teacher's salary. He is a neurosurgeon. It's no secret that Jake is the breadwinner in our marriage. I feel lucky for it, that I can do what I love for a living and still never have to worry about money. I grew up with a single mother who worked the night shift as an LPN. We didn't have much. Sometimes even the cost of gas was too much to afford. I started working when I was 15 to be able to contribute to the cost of groceries, the mortgage, and utilities. Since getting married to Jake, I've gotten used to being able to buy things without having to think twice about the price. I don't know that I could go back to the lifestyle I grew up in. Not that I would ever have to, because I have Jake. And because, even if, God forbid, he left me, we'd split everything down the middle. My cell phone rings. I practically fly out of my chair at the sound. It's the first time in 2 days that it's rung, and after all this time of begging and pleading with it to ring, it finally is. Thank God. Jake has come to his senses. He's ready to talk it out. He's forgiven me. I reach for my phone, lying face down on the table. I flip it over and look at the name on the display, expecting it to say Jake. My heart sinks. It's not Jake. It's our friend Damien. I answer the call, though my first instinct is not to answer, but to leave the phone free for if Jake calls. But maybe Damien knows something that I don't. If Jake would sleep on anyone's sofa, it's Damien's. Hi, Damien, I say. Hey, Nina, I'm sorry to bother you, he says. You're no bother, I tell him. You're never a bother. How's Anna? I move from the kitchen table to the butler's pantry for the wine fridge. I pull out a chilled bottle of white and pour myself a generous glass, lifting it to my mouth without putting the bottle away. My nerves are frayed. I balance the phone on my shoulder, bringing both the open bottle and the glass back to the table with me. Damien's excitement is palpable. She's pregnant, he announces. And I'm so happy for Damien and Anna because they've been trying to get pregnant for years. It wasn't happening. It was one failed attempt after another. They went through fertility drugs and then artificial insemination. Damien and Anna were always very candid with Jake and me about the process and the struggle. Mainly, I think, because Jake is a doctor, and because we're their only friends without kids. It was easier to talk to us about it than with other friends. Jake and I are at that point in our lives where almost everyone we know has or is having kids, except us. The last I heard, Damien and Anna were trying in vitro, which is obscenely expensive. They don't have the income for it. The cost alone was almost enough to make them give up. They had agreed they would try one time, but that they didn't have the savings to go for it more than once. That's amazing, I say. I'm so happy for you both. I am happy for them. So happy. Though I have to force the enthusiasm into my voice because I'm not in a happy place myself. You want to hear the best news? What could be better than that? I ask. Twins. It's twins, Nina. I feel so happy for them. Anna is amazing. The kind of woman who radiates kindness and warmth. Anna will make the best mom, I tell him. She was born to be a mother. How far along is she? 13 weeks. It was mum's the word until after her first trimester, but now I'm stopping strangers on the street to tell them. I smile. I wouldn't put it past him. Listen, he says. Is everything okay with Jake? I have to catch my breath. Why? I ask. I've been trying to get a hold of him since Monday morning, but he hasn't returned my texts. It's not like him. Damien waits as if I should say something. But I'm at a loss for words. Anyway, he says in response to my silence. I'm just wondering if he's there, and if so, if you could put him on for me. It will only take a second. Jake isn't here, I say. Slightly stunned that Jake wouldn't answer Damien's texts either. No? He asks. No, he's not. He's at work, I say, because I don't know what else to say. It's not a lie. It's 7 now. It's a surgery day. Jake is at work. It's crossed my mind to go to the hospital and make him talk to me, but I worried that would make things worse. When Jake is ready to talk, he'll come to me. Of course he is. Could you tell him I called? Could you ask him to call me back? Damien says that he wants to tell Jake the good news about his and Anna's babies. Damien and Jake are incredibly close. They went to college together. They were in the same fraternity. They've been friends for 2 decades. Damien was Jake's best man at our wedding, and Jake was the best man at theirs. He gave the most hilarious speech. He had people doubled over laughing. I still remember it. Though sometimes that feels like a lifetime ago. Like an entirely different Jake. One who was more happy and carefree. Still, I can't understand why Jake wouldn't answer Damien's calls or texts when it's me he's mad at. Yes, of course I will, I say, short of breath because of how fast my heart is beating. He's just been so busy at work, I say, feeling like I need to make excuses for Jake's behavior. I reach for my glass and take another long sip, and then reach for the bottle and top off the glass. Damien and I say our goodbyes. I promise again to tell Jake to call him. Easier said than done. I can't tell Jake anything when he won't speak to me.
Christian. In the middle of the night, I shake Lily awake. She asks, half conscious. What did you do with the rock? I've spent the night lying awake, wondering where it is, and if it has blood on it, like Lily's sleeve. And if so, if it has Lily's fingerprints on it too. She rolls over onto her back. My question forces her eyes open. I see the whites of them in the darkness. She sleeps in my old shirts at night, ones she took out of a Goodwill bag and laid claim to. This one is flannel. It's soft beneath my hand. The shirts are long because I'm that much taller than Lily, who is 5'3", relatively petite. They hang down to her upper thigh, meaning her legs are bare. I press my leg against hers, feeling her skin next to mine. Under the weight of the quilt, she gives off heat. I dropped it, I think, she says, her voice slow with sleep. Would you remember where? I don't know. I say okay. I wait until Lily's breath slows and evens out as she falls back to sleep. I slip quietly from bed, careful not to wake her. I sort through the hamper in the closet for the clothes Lily wore yesterday. The white shirt, mostly, but also the pants, her underpants, a pair of socks. I carry the clothes downstairs and leave them in a plastic bag, knotted tightly by the garage door. I'll have to get rid of them. Early in the morning, I convince Lily to take the day off work. I've already called my own boss and told her I wouldn't be there. A sub can give Lily's math test. The kids can live without her for a day. I listen as she calls in sick, saying that she must have eaten something that didn't sit well. Her stomach is bothering her. Lily rarely, if ever, misses work. Whoever is on the other end of the line is understanding, sympathetic even. She can't use the pregnancy as an excuse because no one knows we're pregnant. Lily says that she slept better last night. I hardly slept. Still, she wears a bemused expression on her face, as if lost in thought, and I can only imagine what she's thinking about, and if she's reliving the moment Jake Hayes pushed her to the ground. I pour myself a cup of coffee. I sit and watch from over my mug as Lily forces down a piece of dry toast. The key to staving off morning sickness, she's told me before, is to eat. Hunger is what makes it worse. I watch Lily from across the kitchen table. Even in this state, she's a sight for sore eyes. She has a round face and full cheeks with features that are soft, nothing overly angular or sharp, though her eyes are large. Her skin is like satin. I imagine it staying that way even when she's 60 or 70 and we're growing old and gray together. What? She asks, looking up from her toast as she catches me staring at her. I lower my mug to the table. If you did anything to him, it was only to protect yourself. I say it to soothe her, to quiet the voices in her head. I make it worse. I shouldn't have said anything. Do you think I killed him? She asks, her eyes widening, and I think of the blood on her shirt sleeve, the shirt in the bag by the door, trying to quantify it, to work out how much blood it really was, and if it only looked worse than it was. I minimize it, telling myself if Lily broke his nose when she hit him, that would explain the large amount of blood. Broken noses have a tendency to bleed a lot, and they're not fatal. I'm just saying you shouldn't feel guilty for anything you did or didn't do. He put you in a difficult situation. He left you no choice but to fight back. You know that, don't you? Her conscience deceives her. I keep thinking, she says, that if I had just screamed, someone might have heard me. If not, the sound of it alone might have scared him off. She shakes her head, her eyes getting wet, the toast in her hand shaking so that she sets it down before she drops it. I don't think I screamed, Christian. I keep going over it again and again, trying to remember. I don't think I said anything. Why didn't I just scream? Because you defended yourself, Lily, which is better than screaming. You didn't let yourself become a victim. She stares at me, saying nothing. She nods, but she doesn't believe me. I pack things in the trunk before we go. A shovel, gloves, garbage bags, just in case. Lily doesn't notice. As the sun rises, we leave the house and drive to the forest preserve just as traffic is starting to back up on the roads and expressway. Why did you want to come here? Lily asks. I want you to show me where it happened. Why? She asks. I want to see it with my own eyes. What I don't tell Lily is that I need to find the bloody rock, the thing that puts her here. I also wouldn't mind finding her missing earring because I think it must have come out when she was trying to get away from Jake. I want to get rid of any evidence that she was here. What if he's here? She asks, scared. He won't be, I say. She doesn't buy it. We both know that I don't know. But if he is here, then he's not alive, or he's not in good condition, and then there is nothing he can do to hurt her. Either way, she's safe. I grab her by the hand and say, listen, that's a lie. I don't know if he will be here or not, but either way, we'll know, okay? Not knowing is the hardest part. Lily's eyes hold mine for a long time, trying to decide if I mean it this time. I park in the lot off Riley. We get out of the car, moving like prisoners on a death march. We don't say much. What we say is out of necessity. Things like, this way, and watch your step. We're not alone at the forest preserve. There are other people here, but it's 7 a.m., and the path is far from crowded. This early in the morning, the people here are runners and bikers. They're a different breed, almost aloof and detached as they slip on headphones and take off down the trail alone, lost in worlds of their own. Lily and I move down the path at our own pace. We hang back, letting everyone else go first. We're in no hurry. We don't want to be here. It's only of necessity that we are. We hold hands as we retrace Lily's steps from the other day. We kick up pebbles as we walk, moving to the right as a biker comes soaring by, passing us on the left. The man rises to stand on the bike pedals as he passes, his calves like steel. Lily is jumpy. She doesn't hear him approach. Only I do, because he gives no warning. Lily doesn't know he's there until he's directly beside her, and then she falls nervously back, her hand pulling from mine and going to her heart. It's okay, I say. It's just a bike. The biker doesn't notice Lily's reaction. He says nothing to us as he flies past, disappearing over a flat wooden bridge and around a bend in the trees. I take Lily by the hand, and we keep walking, watching the biker, until we can't see him anymore. Do you know where you were when you met up with Jake? I ask Lily, my voice low in volume, looking down at the soft sunlight on her face. The sun is low, still rising. It's beneath the treetops, so that the light it gives off is subdued and serene. The trees are pretty this time of year. their color just barely starting to turn. Everything about this is serene, except for the reason we're here. Lily looks around. She's quiet, contemplative, trying to decide. The problem is that everything looks the exact same. Lily knows this place well. If she can't pin down an exact spot, no one can. The last marathon she ran, she trained here. That summer, it was her home away from home. Sometimes I came and ran with her, though I couldn't keep up, and I couldn't run as far as she could. Inevitably, we got separated, which is how I know it's almost impossible to get lost if you stay on the trail, which is a loop. Eventually, you come back to where you started. Lily knows this trail like the back of her hand. And yet, except for the obvious landmarks, where it crosses the street, the part of it that overlooks the creek, or where it runs parallel to train tracks, it's indistinguishable. You can't tell one tree from the next. Maybe up here somewhere. It looked something like that, Lily says.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.